Hello, I'd like to welcome you to my new studio layout. If you've seen my first video, you saw how small and cramped the studio layout was. Well, it's still in the same space, but I managed to rearrange it so that it's a little more user-friendly and I have a little more room to reach everything and access everything. Let me show you real quick how I did it. What I did is went on the computer and I made basically a Word document. I took measurements of all my equipment and everything and then made a layout of the space that I had and just made boxes so that I can put them where I want to, and played with different layouts until I came up with one that pretty much worked, and that's the one I have. So we'll start here with the guitars. They're the same guitars from my first video, but I'm going to go into a little more detail this time. Over here on the far left, I have a Harley Benton ST acoustic, Strat style acoustic, and you can see that each of the guitars has its own Legato wireless unit, which I'm very happy with. Even though they're kind of inexpensive, they're only 45 bucks a piece on Amazon. One thing that I did do to the acoustic is ordinarily the strap lock for the top is behind the neck, but I noticed that that inhibited access to the upper frets, so I actually made a little block of wood and shaped it and put it up in there and moved the strap mount to the top horn like on a regular Strat. Next I have the Harley Benton SC Custom, single cut custom guitar. And you can, if you're familiar with this, you know that it ordinarily comes with 2 volume controls and a push-pull tone control, master tone control for coil splitting. Well, I actually added a second volume, or added a second tone control, and moved one of the volumes up a little bit. I actually had to get a different potentiometer, a long shaft potentiometer for that, but that gives me independent control over both pickups. Then I have the PV Raptor Super Strat, where I actually put in a second volume, also with coil splitting for the humbucker pickup, so that I have a volume control for the 2 single coil pickups and a separate volume for the humbucker and a master tone control. Then I have the Harley Benton Viola style short scale bass. Didn't really do anything to that except add a wrist weight, a 1.5 pound wrist weight to the strap to reduce some of the head dive, where if you let go of the guitar, the head will pitch down. So it helps make it a little more stable when I'm playing it. Next I have these little A-frame guitar stands for the guitars, and my Boss Katana 50 watt amp. On top of that I have an iPod and a little Bluetooth transmitter and some low latency earbuds so I can do in-ear monitoring, and egg timer for timing my practice sessions, and a little bin with odds and ends, slide and capo and tuner and stuff, and a little charging station. The Boss Katana actually connects to the computer with what's called the Katana Tone Studio, which is kind of a remote control unit that you can program different effects and different levels and settings and stuff into the different channels. Next I have the Fender 20 watt amplifier. You can see that I actually made a little cheat sheet. You will see that I'm a big fan of cheat sheets for the different settings for the effects and the different voices, so that I can remember what the different colors mean as you change the voice. You can see it changes to different colors, and the same thing with the effects. And the different colors correspond to different settings. I have a little charging station for the wireless units and a can of Gorilla Snot pick tack. Below that, I have an Ampeg 20 watt bass amplifier. From the guitar wireless units, they actually go into a Nady 8-channel mixer, and from there they go into a little ABY switch. Don't know if the light is good enough to be able to see that, but that allows me to run the guitars into either this New Cross MG100 effects processor, which goes actually out to the Fender amplifier, or into this other pedal board, which has various other effects, so that if I want more effects than I can have just programmed into the channels with the Tone Studio, then I have some discrete pedals. I also have a foot pedal for the different channels and banks on the Katana, so that I can switch between them easily. The outputs of all of the amplifiers go into this little Behringer 4-channel mixer and then out to an audio interface. The bass guitar at this point, there will be more, go into this Nady mixer, and out of there into this little Pop Rock guitar effects processor with a little drum machine built in. You can see the cheat sheet for the different modes on the drum machine behind it. And even though that's a guitar effects processor, it works fantastic for the bass. From there, you can see I have the audio interface. It's a little Behringer audio interface. And above that, it turns out my computer is actually too slow to record audio very well. It tends to have dropouts. Works great for editing and for running the Tone Studio. So I got this little voice recorder with line-in capability that I can run the audio interface into and record directly into that, and then download that file into the computer and edit it from there. I have a Yamaha PSR-75 keyboard that I actually got from my grandmother when she passed. So that's got some definite sentimental value to me. Below that, I have a Donner 20 watt keyboard monitor that I have the microphone, the keyboard, and the drums going into, because it has the full range speaker so that the speaker won't blow while I'm playing the lower frequencies, especially from the drums. I have a Roland TD1K drum set with the optional crash cymbal, an upgraded snare pad, 2-zone snare pad, and a KT10 bass pedal that's daisy chained to the bass pedal that comes with the TD1K. And on the right you can see the hi-hat controller pedal, and another cheat sheet that shows me the different drum kits. There's 15 pre-programmed drum kits, 15 pre-programmed songs, and it also has a coaching mode, so my cheat sheet actually shows me the different options in the coaching mode without having to pull out the owner's manual every time. Over to the right from there, I have a little 4-foot folding table that I got so I can use to set up my guitars or change strings or condition the necks, things like that. And I'm actually getting ready to learn how to do fret leveling and fret dressing, so it'll be real handy for that too. And different music books and tools and so on and so forth in there. All my guitar cases, one for each guitar, and little bins of different cables and instruction manuals and extra parts and pieces and stuff that I like to keep on hand, but I don't use very often. I have a music stand with another cheat sheet, guitar cheat sheet, with the guitar neck and different modes and scales and so on and so forth. My microphone with a boom mic stand with some pick holders and a little holder for the phone so that I can record video down the length of the microphone for like a second person point of view. I also have a little gooseneck phone holder attached to the shelf that my computer is on, so I can set up the phone for recording video on when I'm playing the keyboard or the drums. And stereo with a turntable for playing my records. And I also have the ability to run a cable from the headphone output to that into the voice recorder so that I can digitize my music when I get around to doing that. So that's an extended tour of my new setup, and you can see that, you know, I have room to get at everything, and from the drum throne I can reach the audio mixer to set levels, and the Donner amplifier, and play the keyboard right from the throne or do the video editing. And also, you know, I can come over here next to the pedal board and adjust my levels so I can reach the audio mixer, the audio interface from everywhere. And I have a fair amount of room to be able to move around and play guitar without feeling like I'm boxed into this little tiny space. So I hope you enjoyed that tour. I do plan on upgrading the drums at some point to a little better kit, upgrading the keyboard at some point to an 81 key keyboard with some extra voices, because this has a lot of voices on it, but not everything that I'd like to have, and more guitars at some point, because the proper number of guitars is of course n+1, where n is the number you currently have. So I hope you enjoyed my little tour. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.